Hello everyone, today we're taking a look at the Dolphin140. This comes under the brand NVision or TCMMRC, but it's shipped in an eSheen box. And this was a quad, actually I bought two of them, I'll show you the other one here in a minute. This is a quad that I bought off of AliExpress. And now, if you're not familiar, AliExpress is a lot like Amazon, but it's mainly, China-based, and so it's kind of a marketplace that facilitates smaller shops having a single stop and more visibility, and you can find all sorts of stuff. And oftentimes when we go to AliExpress, or at least when I go to AliExpress, we're doing two things: we're looking for something that we can't find somewhere else, or we're looking for a bargain. And this one, yeah, it's a bargain. I would call it 2019 prices, and to get to 2019 prices, most of us would say, hey, yeah, you got to make some sacrifices. But I would ask you this. Any of you out there flying 2019 quads? Maybe the sacrifices aren't that big a deal. By the way, in the moment, prices fluctuate. In the moment, I see this particular one listed at $117. Now, the other one that I bought is this one. Let me switch over to that tab because I can't remember the name to save my life. This is called the Land 150, same brand, TCMMRC. Came in an eSheen box as well. Main difference, it uses all the same components and everything. Main difference is this one is going to be bottom mount for your battery because the round top doesn't work out so well. But this one comes in at $88, which is surprising. Now, I haven't flown this one at all. This one came in after this one, so I spent my time with this one, and the parts are almost the same. And this one's got blue motors, so that's got to be better. Let me start with my complaints right off the bat. These are not genuine props. I think these are probably aftermarket knockoff, whatever you want to coin them, because I had one crash, and I'll show you that in the video, that did not break props. All my other crashes broke props. That's why you see I have a purple prop from this quad on this quad, because I kept breaking props. Also, you'll notice the camera in here is not the one it came with. It came with a 2019 Caddx camera, and it was completely out of focus, and I couldn't get it to focus, so I just swapped it out. Now, at the time, I didn't have this one to go to. Again, this one arrived after this one, so I just swapped out the camera. Something to keep in mind as we watch the flight footage is this camera you don't get with this kit. You get the old Caddx camera. Also, the strap they sent was ridiculously long, at least for me. I don't know, maybe you're going to put a 1500 milliamp battery on here. I'm not. It's a 3-inch prop. I wouldn't suggest that. And then one of the things that really bothered me, and I hope I've got this right, but maybe I've got some friends out there that will correct me as we dig into this. This flight controller does not support any sort of receiver like an ExpressLRS. It doesn't have two free UARTs, a TX and an RX, so I could hook up ExpressLRS receiver. I had to go S-Bus. And there doesn't seem to be any way around that. So you could do FlySky still with its iBus, but otherwise you're stuck using S-Bus. So that's my major complaints. We'll go through some of the finer points, but let's jump down to the desk and start to cover this guy a little bit. The specs listed on the website are actually pretty terrible. They really don't tell you much about the actual individual components. These motors, they're printed on here. They're 1507 2400 kV. Almost seem like nearly 6S motors. The camera that it comes with is this Caddx camera, and it says right up here it's the Turbo Micro F2. They do have a bit of information because I found the flight stack on their website, which is actually under the same brand, NVision TCMMRC. Hot sale, F4, 20 amp flying stack, F405, blah 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 blah. And it does say that it is a 2 to 6S, but obviously, as you can see on here, it's heavily connector based. It does have a boot button on it, though, so that's something to be said for it. And this flight stack is only $35. So yeah, it's cheap, and that's buying the flight stack all by itself. But like I said, it's supposed to be an F4. It's supposed to be Maytech based, and then we've got a ESC that is a 20 amp ESC with the peak being 25. And if you look very closely at their website, it's funny when you look at this flight stack, they don't even show the actual flight controller as far as the wiring diagram. It's some generic wiring diagram from an even older flight controller. For all I know, I don't even know if that's a Betaflight based flight controller, but yeah, it's pretty funny the way the things are working out. So it makes being detailed about what I found difficult. I wanted to pull this other one out to show you the VTX on here. So the VTX is actually smart audio capable. I think this is the XF like 505 or 5805. Oh, I forget the name now, and it's not. It took me hours to find that. It's a VTX that's been around for a long time. But it is smart audio capable. But you can see, if you can see the connector over there, they actually remove the smart audio wire out of there, so you can't wire smart audio up. And there's actually pads right underneath this connector on the bottom side to where you could wire it up. So if I could have found the proper documentation for the flight controller, there is an outside chance that I possibly could have wired up smart audio on this particular one. I have tried that before on others. I don't think it did on this one. And it does come like this, to where you just have this connector sticking out of your receiver port. So obviously it's a 3-wire situation. And I went with the old XM Plus. Oh, the battery mat, I did put that on myself. The little accessory bag that it comes with like a carbon fiber toolkit, a couple extra screws. You get these pads that you can use to cut up and put on your arms, which I did use. And then let me get this out. Sorry. It's got this funny carbon piece that you would actually put like on your battery, and then you run the strap through. See how it's got these lines to protect your battery from, you know, the impacts that it might get. It makes more sense in a bottom-mounted battery case, but not with the top mount. How I have mine set up, it comes in at a little over 157 grams. In the flight, you'll see I flew it on this G&B 720 milliamp 4S battery, and that brings our flying weight up to just about 226.5 grams. Carbon fiber arms are 3 millimeters thick. Top plate looks like it's 2 millimeters thick. By the way, it is, when I measured the arms, that's the body as well. It's all a single bottom plate. And motor post to motor post, I'm getting about 140 millimeters. And no, it did not come with stickers. As we sit here on the table, there's like a black spot, but I think that goes away as we take off. And also the Foxeer camera OSD is still on screen. I did not take that off. Kind of a way of indicating, hey, this isn't the default camera. This doesn't come with this kit. Try to drive that point home so no one gets confused, because I do think this camera is not just marginally better, but I suspect it's a lot better than the camera that it comes with. Larger lens, glass lens, larger overall camera, so that weight may be slightly different too. You may find that the weight with the stock camera is a gram or two less. So of course this comes with an old version of Betaflight, not even good old 357, it came with 352. And so I spent a few packs doing some tuning and crashing and doing some other fun things that we do with quads before I kind of landed on a tune that I thought was decent. If you follow the channel, you know that I tend to get tunes to what I would say, you know, are 70, maybe 75% there. It's pretty rare I get a tune, at least on a review like this, that where I get it, you know, much above what I would say is 80%. So it's a 4S quad, it's got 1507 motor, so it's got good pump, it's got good burst, but I wasn't overwhelmed by it. I have seen better. I don't want to just continue to bash this because it's a budget-based drone, because there are a vast majority, or there's a large segment of people that you're looking to get every dollar you can out of this hobby, by meaning of savings. And so if you can save $50 and go with the quad like this and deal with the fact that it's got older components on it, and you're okay with that because you get to enjoy FPV, there's nothing wrong with that. Some will say buy cheap, buy twice. That's not necessarily true. We know we can get the flight stack for, what I say earlier, $35 or something like that. So if you ESC dies or your flight controller dies, you can replace that for a budget as well. Of course, you've got to go right back to AliExpress for that. We have seen NVision bring kind of a more standardized product. It was kind of outside of the box thinking, in that it was supposed to be a stem-based whoop. It was a 3S whoop that had kind of a wire or metal sort of internal frame to it, and then it had this outer coating that was kind of a soft-coated, rubberized material of some sort. But, you know, a 3S whoop Yeah, 75 millimeter. Those ones just don't fly great. But so we've seen this company under their NVision umbrella make other components. I don't know that this is anywhere near that same sort of company, although it runs under that same brand. Oh yeah, I forgot about that crash. Just trying to do my fun little pass underneath the tree and got a little too close, and I did not break a prop this time, thankfully.
Right, that's good.
We go pick up the quad, and we're gonna go sit it back over on the table and go for some more run. This flight overall, I think it goes for just about 4.5 minutes. So we're a little over halfway to the through the total flight. So, like I said, I don't have any real complaints about the performance. No, it's not going to be a top performer. You can see how it performs with me at the sticks in my particular space. I have the CLI. I'll put that down in the video description. So if you've got this, or if you've got a quad very similar to it with weight, motors, props, stuff like that, that you could try the head tuning section out of that. Remember, this is old Betaflight. As I said earlier, 352 if I remember correctly. So keep that in mind. This won't work on anything current. And maybe that's the better idea of what I should have done. Maybe I should go out and flash Betaflight 4.3 on this if it's available and see, well, hopefully it doesn't make the CPU run real high, but do a 4.3 tune on this. I'm just may do that. So if you're watching this and you're looking for a 4.3 tune, I might flash this and take it back out and again, get a 60-75% tune on this. I would probably say just use a UAV Tech preset. The presets have been working out. I just tweak from there. Just little tiny movements, maybe 1 or 2 movements from a UAV Tech preset, and then I think I'm good to go with as far as the flight feel that I'm getting. So we've got about 4 minutes, and you can see our battery voltage is still above 3.57 volts per cell. Typically, I want to come in and disarm and have the battery at right around 3.5 volts. So if you're waiting for that to come, it will come here in the next 15-20 seconds. Now, one thing I have not dealt with, and I possibly could have gained some experience this time around, is dealing with shop support through AliExpress. So that's something I would like to learn from those of you that have purchased through AliExpress and had to seek support. I think you don't go directly through AliExpress support. They're kind of there for the worst case scenarios. But if you've had to deal with support and you had AliExpress shop that you dealt with, I'd sure like to learn more about your experiences. There we go. 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Again, that was on a 4S 720 milliamp GNB battery. I did fly it a touch long, probably 5 seconds too long. Battery is sitting around 3.5 volts per cell. Just a couple of things to kind of give you a jump start. It did come built. This isn't a kit. This isn't a DIY thing, but there are some things that I think are going to be fairly necessary. One, I squirreled my receiver away down right in there, and then I routed my antenna wires through here. We used the zip tie and heat shrink trick right through here just to kind of give us some relatively safe place for our antenna. VTX antenna, I just mounted a zip tie here and then a little bit of heat shrink to keep this to that so it's not flopping around in there. We don't want things bouncing around. Also on our battery lead, I just used a little zip tie here. This isn't so much strain relief. I can tighten it up and make it strain relief. This was mainly just to keep this from possibly getting out here into the prop because we don't want the battery getting over here and leading to a prop strike. And this newbie drone, fine drone company. They used to just do micros, but they've now been expanding more and more over the years. You can see my props are a little bit chewed up. I just think these are aftermarket props. They're just not very durable. Yeah, I was not impressed. They would break at the hub all the time. Anyway, so I think I've shown everything that I can show as far as the physicalities. They do have metal standoffs here, and they do use a carbon fiber plate, but you don't have any horizontal adjustment with your camera, so it's just one position. So it's there. It's kind of standard at the time, 2019. So that is the Dolphin140, and I guess to some degree the Land 150, because all the components are the same. It's just a different sort of carbon. Why this one is so much cheaper, I have no idea. Maybe it's cheaper to cut the carbon. Maybe it's fewer metal standoffs. I really couldn't say. There's literally no real difference in their components. It's just the carbon fiber frame. Yeah, so unless you really wanted the top mounted battery, I would get this one for $88. if you're looking at a budget quad from AliExpress, because what you saw, this one's going to be able to do. There could be, I don't really see a design flaw, a fatal flaw in this particular design. We've seen this before. It was kind of, again, it was a 2019 sort of thing, maybe even 2018, when you had the vertical carbon fiber plates. Should really provide a lot of resistance to any sort of downward force and impacts there. So yeah, I don't know, I'm curious about all of you that do shop on AliExpress, what you think of these sort of quads, and when it comes to the sacrifices of making purchases where you're dealing with older components, you've got to have a fair bit of quad knowledge already in order to take a quad like this and get it running and get it bound up with your receiver, because it doesn't come with a receiver. It's something we've got to be able to do ourselves. And with this particular flight controller, I think you can only do S-Bus or I-Bus. There's no Express LRS options because of the UART shortage. So that might be just a deal breaker. But if you are interested in these, I'll find the cheapest prices I can find, probably the ones I already have bookmarked on AliExpress, for the Dolphin140 and the Land150. And I'll have those down in the video description below. I will put the CLI dump that I've got for this, as well as later on when I work up a Betaflight 4.3, probably a preset with a slight tweak, down in the video description as well. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.